Polarizing Olympian Eileen Gu basks in sheer acceptance at SF Chinese New Year Parade. Eileen Gu was welcomed home Saturday in San Francisco, where lines unblurred. She returned from the 2026 Winter Games as the most decorated freestyle skier in Olympics history, tallying 6 medals by age 22 for China. Despite being born in San Francisco, at competitions the Chinese-American star represents China, her mother's home country, which does not allow dual citizenship. Confusion about her national loyalties, or lack thereof, has made her as polarizing as she is popular. Gu found respite from her detractors along 2nd and Market Streets. Attendees of the Chinese New Year Parade in SF largely embraced Gu, the event's grand marshal. Some were more excited for the celebration with her at the forefront. Hearing about her and looking at her through the social media lens, I think it's very different from really seeing her in person, observer Jamie Presto told The Chronicle. She's an inspiration. As the city drummed to life, spectators nudged up to the barricades for a better look, before Gu entered stage left in a red Ford Mustang convertible and a matching red dress. Young kids accompanied by their parents struggled to contain their awe. "Oh, Eileen, Eileen." Not that the adults were all that constrained. One parent, Sion Lee, yelled out, "See, everybody likes the marshal, like Shohei Ohtani from the Dodgers." Lee had last been to the annual SF parade 10 years prior. Gu gave her reason to show up again. "I like her as a Chinese American," Lee said, "so it's the people I support. I'm not supporting my own motherland's government." The fact that Gu, along with fellow American-born figure skater Zhu Yi, had been paid $14 million in taxpayer funds over the last 3 years by the Beijing Municipal Sports Bureau, or in other words, the Chinese government, drew criticism from citizens of both countries. Some felt betrayed. Lee, who claimed to have a friend with close ties to Yang, the mother of Eileen, argued against the traitor narrative. Gu Eileen, as Lee called her, sticking to Chinese name order, was raised by a single mom who often took summer trips to mainland China with her daughter. So she did not only grow up in the Bay Area, but in Beijing, too. Amid political discourse that has attempted to corner Gu into being exclusively Chinese or American, but never both, she is held tight to her mixed heritage. She can be the ambassador, the bridge, a better translator than anyone else, Lee said, because she grew up literally in both areas. "I like her because she represents the best part of both cultures. Very driven, very resilient, and also very individual." Asked if her decision to ski for China should matter, onlooker Victoria Tran said bluntly, "I don't think it does." Gu has tried to help people better understand. She's noted before, "When I'm in the US, I'm American, but when I'm in China, I'm Chinese." In the Bay, she has always just been Eileen. "People have a hard time just interacting with gray zones," Tran said, adding she could relate to Gu. "I mean, I'm personally mixed. People have a hard time processing what it means to be mixed and be able to hold multiple cultures. They sort of feel like you need to have loyalty to one, despite the fact that people are extremely multifaceted." For a parade that lasted over 2 hours with thousands in attendance, no known protests or problems emerged. Only hordes of people shoulder to shoulder, waiting for their chance to see Eileen Gu, the skier, the model, the Stanford student. Their cheers indicated sheer acceptance. People that are from the Bay have a lot of pride in being from the Bay, and I think because of that, the community tends to be extra proud of people that have been able to achieve incredible things that come from where we are, Tran said. "I think a lot of the slander I see online definitely comes from people that aren't in the Bay." As Saturday demonstrated, the Bay offered her nothing but a warm embrace. A crowd near the parade starting line exclaimed as Gu rolled by, "Women INI," which translates to, "We love you." Marshal Uy Alexander, who identified himself as half Chinese and half Caucasian, is a parade regular. He personally had not heard of the controversy that surrounded Gu. In his circle, presumably beyond the bubble of vitriolic comment sections, he only heard the usual stuff. 3-time gold medalist, 3-time silver medalist, the pride of the Bay Area, things like that. "Everybody that I know is just super proud of her," Alexander said. "Great thing about having her on the podium," she said, "is to have the conversation. In a world increasingly divided by politics, nationality, and identity, few athletes embody the complexity of global identity quite like Olympic freestyle skier Eileen Gu. Born in the United States to a Chinese mother and American father, Gu's choice to represent China in international competition turned her into one of the most polarizing figures in modern sports. Yet amid the debates, headlines, and social media arguments, moments occasionally emerged that cut through the noise. One such moment unfolded in San Francisco's Chinese New Year parade, where Gu was greeted not with controversy but with something far simpler and far more powerful: acceptance. The Chinese New Year parade in San Francisco is one of the largest Lunar New Year celebrations outside of Asia. For more than a century, it has been a dazzling expression of culture, heritage, and community pride. Dragon dances went through the streets. Firecrackers crackle against the cool February air. Lanterns glow above crowds packed shoulder to shoulder along Market Street. For many Asian Americans, the parade is not merely a celebration but a reaffirmation of identity in a nation where belonging has sometimes felt fragile. When Eileen Gu appeared in the parade, waving from a float and smiling at cheering spectators, the atmosphere felt almost electric. The crowds were not analyzing geopolitics or debating Olympic eligibility rules. They were celebrating a young athlete who had achieved extraordinary success, while embracing a cultural heritage shared by many in attendance. It was a moment of symbolic unity that contrasted sharply with the polarized narrative surrounding her career. The rise of a global phenomenon. Eileen Gu's story reads like the script of a modern sports epic. Born in San Francisco in 2003, Gu was raised by a Chinese mother, Yang Jiu, a former ski instructor and investment professional who encouraged her daughter to pursue skiing from a young age. Weekends often meant early morning drives to Lake Tahoe, where Gu trained tirelessly on snowy slopes. From the beginning, her talent was unmistakable. By her teenage years, Gu had already become a rising star in freestyle skiing. She won world championships, dominated youth competitions, and began to attract global sponsorships. Her athletic ability was complemented by an extraordinary academic and personal profile. She was fluent in Mandarin, modeled for international fashion brands, and eventually enrolled at Stanford University. But the turning point that defined her public image came in 2019, when she announced that she would represent China instead of the United States in international competitions. A choice that sparked global debate.